These many antichrists are only the forerunners of that Antichrist who will appear before the second coming of Christ and the end of the world. They are, as it were, types of their prototype, the coming individual Antichrist. They are the bearers of the spirit of Antichrist, and their task is to prepare the right ground for the coming of the Antichrist, to create favorable conditions for his appearance in the world, while the other Antichrists do not stand with a particular member, and therefore, how many differ from it. These many Antichrists are only the forerunners of that Antichrist who will appear before the second coming of Christ and the end of the world. They are, as it were, types of their prototype, the coming individual Antichrist. They are the bearers of the spirit of Antichrist, and their task is to prepare the right ground for the coming of the Antichrist, to create favorable conditions for his appearance in the world at the turn of the Middle Ages, in order to completely eradicate the remnants of Christianity. The same spirit of Antichrist gave birth in the bosom of the papacy that had torn away from the true Orthodox faith movements that were already completely opposed to Christianity, unrestrained free thinking, humanism, which put man himself in the place of God, and, finally, atheism, or complete godlessness. Not without the strong influence of these movements in the 16th century, a split occurred within the papal church organization itself, which received the name of Protestantism, which allegedly undertook to reform the church, but in reality went even further along the path of apostasy and rejected the very essence of the church. Protestantism, in turn, began to break up more and more into small part sects, of which many have now strayed so far from Christianity that they rejected its main dogmas and even faith in the divinity of the founder of Christianity, the Lord Jesus Christ. This process of the emergence of more and more new sects, the most fanatical and absurd, does not stop now. It is extremely characteristic how clearly the spirit of Antichrist manifests itself in all these sects. If not all of them, then most of them talk a lot about the second coming of Christ, waiting for it with particular impatience and ardor, but they are silent about the preliminary arrival of the Antichrist, or claim that the Antichrist already exists in the person of the Pope. Characteristic in this regard is the recent Evanston Conference, organized by Protestants and sectarians and held under the slogan, "Christ is the hope of the world." Much has been said at this conference about the second coming of Christ and about what blessings this promises to humanity on earth, but complete silence about the Antichrist. Doesn't this naturally lead to the idea that Protestants and sectarians are gradually being prepared by their leaders to receive Antichrist when he appears as Christ himself? At the same time, the already clearly anti-Christian teachings of materialism, socialism, and Marxism-communism appear in the West and are persistently propagated, and socio-political organizations with a secret cult of Satan are spreading their nets more and more widely.